And this is Road to 2027. I'm Lawrence Osifo, your anchor, and it's a great delight to have you join us on the program tonight. We'll be talking about the real issues, party defections, and the issues that is arising over the weeks or over the month now. We've been seeing defection here and there. Ahead of 2027 general election, we've seen political parties, we've seen people leaving their parties, joining other political parties in order for them probably to gain relevance before 2027. But that will be the issues we'll be discussing or be looking at on the program tonight. My guests are already seated. Joining me on the program tonight, I have my first guest, the person of Comrade Idiogbe Solomon. He is a civil rights activist and also a political analyst on the show tonight. Comrade, good evening and good to have you.
Yeah, very good evening this evening. It's my pleasure to.
All right. We've seen the whole outplay of defections from Party A to Party B. Let's make sense out of this whole defection here and there. Would you say the defection is a matter of the people that the politicians have at heart, or it's their personal interests that they are after in order for them to gain or remain relevant in the polity?
Nobody actually can convince me that the defection spray cutting across the various political parties into the All Progressives Congress that we can describe as a real political party in Nigeria and in those states, that it's the interest of the people. No, it's the interest of the politicians themselves, the interest of the actors. For instance, the 2027 presidential elections or general elections, if you like, is coming up in 2027. We still have 1 year. INEC have not lifted back. So, what's the hurry about? You know, that positions are decamping from Party A to Party A, Party B to Party A, Party Z to Party A, Party C to Party A. You know, it doesn't really make sense. And then you hear governors. For instance, I was taken aback yesterday when a governor was talking on a public television that President Obola Ahmed Tinubu is the best thing that happened to Nigeria. That if only we had had 3 of President Tinubu, Nigeria will become the United States of America. And I was asking from where this is coming. If you want to campaign for your candidate, please do. But don't leave us out of this problem if you don't want to address it. So for me, it's not at all about the people. It's about pocket and it's about interest. Because we already know that politics is about interests, and because there's no permanent friend, no permanent enemy.
Okay. Before I go to my second guest on the program tonight, let me get this from you before I join my other guests who have already joined us. Now, when you hear politicians say all of this, do you actually think they are saying this because they love the people, or you think they are saying this for their own personal aggrandizement, or in order for them to have a relationship with those at the federal level? Because we've seen those who have defected lately, governor of Delta State who said they defected for reasons that they want to attract developmental project from the federal to the state level. Is this really what is playing out?
Obviously, that's not. What is it? Developmental projects of the federal government is federal rights. No, we talk about federal roads. Yes, there are already arrangements. We already know that concession and then following templates and all of that. But the issue is this: the only reason that we can tell from it is either the former governor has issued and needed to grant access to bring the governor of his state to show that he is going to be a member as he was the office. Is interest in ensuring that anybody that is not with him before 2027 he will yank out. We saw what happened in Rivers State. The Rivers State was it was maybe after the declaration of the state of emergency in Rivers State that you saw a lot of them, jacking out of their party. So if you ask me 1,000 times, I'll tell you it's for self-political gain. It is for political interest of self and not for the people. Since the governor defected from PDP to APC, what developmental activity or project has the governor, attracted to Delta State, for instance? What developmental project? Has it not been, is it not the same thing the way it was? So those are just story for the gods. Now, that become more balance. A story for the gods. It has nothing to do with attracting any federal or whatever to Mrs. Ibasen.
All right. Let's hear from.
And it's all about returning as a governor for a second term.
Okay. Let's hear from my second guest on the program tonight, Benjamin Mayo. Benjamin, can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear. Good evening,
Okay.
Thank you for having me.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us on the program Road to 2027. So we are analyzing, looking at the defection, the political defection spree that has been on in Nigeria lately. As a political analyst, what do you have to say on this?
Firstly, I would say, since after the 2023 general election, democracy is actually declining in Nigeria, and it calls for an urgent attention from the international community and the well-meaning Nigerians, because since the President Tinubu was sworn into government, there's a lot of things that are not going on well when it comes to democracy. That's one. And secondly, a lot of people who are in another political party have been persuaded behind the scene to join the ruling party. For some reason best known to them. When you analyze it as a normal or just a layman terms, you will find out that one way or the other, there is something that is pushing any of them. Let me use the Delta State as a case study. The governor of Delta State wasn't his body language shows that he was ready to go to APC until the former governor of Delta State visited him, told him what happened and all that, according to what we saw in the news. And in less than a week, and the story changed, and he joined the APC. And as of today, we have also heard that a lot of governors are also ready to defect from the PDP camp to the APC. All those things, and they are coming up with all these people who are at the campaign. They are already coming up with different frames the excuses. In my own analysis, I would say, you know me, I don't praise politicians when they use, especially our leaders, when they use our public money to run public projects. And most of these governors are coming forward to say, we are joining the party because we want the ruling party or the federal government development project to flow down to the state level and to the local level, which is not supposed to be. Like I said from the beginning, democracy is deteriorating in Nigeria since Tinubu assumed into position as the president of Nigeria, or the Federal Republic of Nigeria. When you also look at it from the direction of in cases that we have had, or rather the elections that we have had after the 2023 general election, you can see how clear they are, and we know who won the elections. And at the end of the day, this case goes to court. Even before going to court, you already know what is going to happen at the end of the day. It seems to be an interference from the presidency into the judiciary, and not allowing them to do their job they're supposed to have done the job. Most of the times, people look at what is happening around the democracy, or rather in elections, and other people who are in different positions. You find out that you need somebody to back you up for you to know this is the right thing that's supposed to have been done. For example, in the Edo State election, you saw how people came out en masse on that day and voted for the candidate that they believe that is going to hold them and represent them and govern them. And at the end of the day, the matter span out to about 8 months, 9 months in the judiciary, and at the end of the day, the voice of the people was suppressed, and the will of the people was also suppressed. And you can see in a situation like Edo State, where the governor of Edo State is using every avenue, every opportunity that comes away to campaign for President Tinubu in 2027. It's alarming, and sometimes it's shameful saying things like this is happening, especially when it comes from my state where we have most intellectual people who are well educated in all institutions in the country. Well, it is what it takes. We'll continue to tell our people that democracy is not just for what we can gain today, but we should be able to think of how what will happen in a few years to come and our generation after our generation.
Okay, thank you very much, Benjamin, for your thoughts. Let me come to you, Solomon. Now, we've seen the power play that is playing out already. One issue that is a big one is where should the next president of Nigeria come from, whether from the north or from the south. What has been a big issue that is playing between the political parties, both the ruling party and the opposition parties. We've heard, or there are rumors flying around that the incumbent president Bola Tinubu might end up dumping his vice president, that's the person of Senator Kashim Shettima, to pick someone else. Do you feel the issue of where the next president should come from, whether the incumbent president or from another political party, should be an issue between the north and the south in terms of dichotomy, basically?
On the issue of dichotomy, it's a clear thing that every leadership in the state or at the federal government, federal level, usually runs 8 years tenure, as against the 4 years constitutionally prescribed, although it's renewable. So they usually do the renewable. They don't end at a single term. And I think that was also one of the major issues during this President Goodluck Jonathan's second bid. Because they complained that it was shortening the northern privilege or northern rights, and for if they allow him to come in second time, I completed that of Musa Yar'Adua. So the issue of north and south should not be the bone of contention. The issue that should be argued is President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, wants it to be given a second term ticket by his actions and deeds. Whether it should be from the south, it's not an issue. Whether it's from the southeast, the south, or the southwest, I don't think that is much the contention, excepting for an article who believes that for every presidential election it should contest, and so that's not an issue. But I think that any political party that wants to feed a candidate and is feeding another candidate will be unfair to the southern. And it's another way of telling President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to continue. Therefore, if you ask, whoever wants to make it to real should do everything possible to feed a candidate from the south. Not just a candidate, a viable candidate. So the issue of whether they drop Vice President Senator Shettima is a cup of tea. I am not in any of the political parties. I'm not interested in the political, but not. It's a decision of a party. The party have a right to select at first their party flag bearer before it becomes the issue of the populace or the electorate, if you like. So. Whether they remove Shettima or they don't remove him, that of course, because if you ask me, I have my own opinion about this 2027 presidential election. Because I foresee an imploding APC. An APC that will implode in 2027. Because having all Dick and Harry backing into APC before 2027, I've asked questions. What will happen to the likes of former Agege and Co. in Delta now that Sheriff Obori will have joined APC, for instance? And then you have a whole lot of viable candidates joining the APC now, and you think they're going to give the sitting governor, because unless it's just like an automatic ticket, which we know that most of these political parties they are into, they just wake up and say we are giving our tickets to. Even at that, there will be so much litigation. So it is still, possible that there will be an implosion in APC with all of this that we are seeing, because it really doesn't make sense. It really doesn't make sense. If you want to make a Nigeria one-party state, so for me, I don't think it makes sense at all. If you answer your question, it is the tone of the South, whether it's south, southeast, or southwest. It should not be a debate, but it's only a debate for an article. Then Whether they drop Shetima
Yeah.
or not, you can't tell any political party who becomes their candidate. You can't.
Okay. All right. Let me, on the same trajectory, Benjamin, if you had that question, do you think where the next president should come from, whether the South or the North, should be an issue in the forthcoming 2027 presidential election?
I think most of the time this question keep popping up.
Yeah.
And let me answer it this way, or let me respond to it this way.
Okay.
Let's look at it from the angle of our Nigerian constitution. What does the constitution say? Constitution never spells out where the president should come from. If he's going to come from the South, he's going to come from the West, he's going to come from the North. So whatever that you see that is played out today in every political party is just like a gentleman agreement. The gentleman agreement in the sense that there are so many regions that form together that is amalgamated to become a Nigeria. You understand? The amalgamation itself, you will find that there are some regions that are supposed to be on their own, but they are not on their own, because that is the way the Nigerian was put together. So for some region want to feel less Nigerian, let me put it that way. For some people not to feel they are being neglected or being suppressed, that is the idea of saying let the president come from the West, let the president come from the North, and let it come from the South. That is the political party sharing formula. It is not constitutional. Even in the party constitution, it is also not constitutional in their party bylaw and arrangement. So when you said where a president should come from, Nigeria shouldn't be looking at that. Nigeria should be looking at the competent person that will lead Nigeria. In America, for example, nobody is asking, oh, let a Florida person become a president, let a Texas person become a president, or let a Alaska person become a president. Oh, Alaska have not ruled for over many years. No, there is nothing like that. They have two political parties, two major political parties. Every other one can consider as an individual. So where this political party present a candidate to say, this is who we want, the party doesn't look where is Biden from. Biden was from another place. So the Republican now decided to say, okay, we are bringing Donald Trump back. Donald Trump won the primaries. And a lot of people were involved in that primaries. So this is the angle we should be looking at. I know America is another area that we cannot use to compare to Nigeria because of the diversity and the cultural differences that we have in Nigeria. For example, we have the northern people, the Igbo. Okay, now let's think about it. If you even look at it from the other way, you can even say, okay, the Igbo people have never had the opportunity of becoming the president in Nigeria. So let an Igbo person come forward. But me as a Nigerian who knows what is called development, who knows what's called competency and capacity means, we should actually be looking at regions. That is what the Constitution says. But now that we have a president who is from the South, particularly from the West, and according to the Constitution, you have 4 years. After these 4 years, the Constitution mandates that he goes back to the pool and recontest for the same political office. It's like you are given a job right now. You have a job contract. You have a work contract. Maybe you are given like 4 years or 5 years work contract. Before that 5 years work contract finished, your company, your employer will call you and say, this is the reason why we want to employ you back. If you want to renegotiate this job,
renegotiate the contract.
You understand? Go and apply again. Mm-hmm. That is just the way it is.
Yeah.
So it does not mean that Tinubu is going to return, because we are going to the election. Now that we have a stronger opposition, which is the ADC and the coalition, that is already giving Tinubu a run, because you know that it's not going to be easy, it's not going to be a walkover like him. Like what he did in 2023 when they were the ruling power and all that. But when you look at the performance of the governor or the president or the person that we're talking about, who's actually in the position right now, does he watch your vote as a Nigerian? Does he watch your support? That is what we should be talking about. So when you look at the things that you see every day as a Nigerian compared to what God has blessed us with natural resources, the things you used to buy, how much are you buying them today? Is the economy being fair to you? Is it fair to your kids when it comes to school and all that? There are those states where you live. Do you have roads that you're driving through, even when they have state and federal roads? So all this has a role to play. It might not just be a political party's problem, but it might be a policy that was enacted on the first day. I continue to say it. Tinubu might be a good person. Tinubu might be a good person to some people. He might be a good leader. He was a good leader in Lagos State. He developed Lagos State. Fine. But when you look at it, only one single policy he made put the economy in jeopardy, brought hardship into Nigeria that he himself is now fighting to fight the hardship that that is what I call self-affliction. You understand? You just come into government without looking back and forth. You have not even sat down to look at what the past administration have done. All you could say is subsidy gone. You don't know what was going on. There was no plans put in place on how to cushion these things. And that is what got us where we are. And that subsidy gone, the effect of it, the implication of it, that is what is affecting the common man. It's not affecting a rich man. It's affecting them, but it's not affecting indirectly like the way it's affecting an average Nigerian. Let me not use a poor Nigerian. Although we have about 150 million Nigerians who are poor, who cannot feed 3 square meal daily. So we have to look at these things. Does this person want our vote again? Does this person want our support again? Can this man be our president again? There are things that have never happened before that's going to happen. And we'll add into history. Although we have never had a one-time democratic president in Nigeria, maybe this one will be the first time. Because the coalition and the people who are forming the coalition, they have been in politics for a very long time. And these people are also from the APC who are pulling out to say this policy is wrong. Our people are suffering. People are hungry. You understand? These are the questions we should be asking. Let us face the fact. Let us face the reality. Let us forget where, if it's from the west, if it's from the north, if it is a Bayelsa man, or if it is a northern man that can solve Nigerian problem, put him there. If it is a northern man that will not look at nepotism, that will not be biased, that will not influence in the judiciary to do whatever that is not against their will, that will not influence any institutional decision, or INEC, or the police, or anything at all. Let that person come and rule Nigeria. Do you think that most of us who are living abroad, we are actually happy sometimes to say this kind of thing is happening? Most of the time we'll go to events, we present our passport, they look at us. Oh, you are from Nigeria. You know what that means. When people ask you again if you are from Nigeria after knowing your identity, you know what that means. So even our name as a country, Nigeria, in the international stage or in the global stage, is already become something, already becoming a discussion. Because we don't have leaders that represent us very well, because we don't have leaders who can stand up and speak for us. How many times have you heard President Tinubu go to international conference and speak as a president, representing Nigeria, building that international image? These are the issues. I'm not saying he doesn't have workers working for him, special advisors, ministers, and all. A lot of the ministers are doing well, but the president, that's who we are talking about. Let that be the issue. We should forget the issue of who is going to be the president, which region is going to come from. Region does not buy bread cheaper. Hausa people does not buy bread cheaper. Igbo people does not buy bread cheaper. Yoruba people does not buy bread cheaper. Who have the president? Where the president came from? Everybody is feeling the heat. This is the area I want us to look into as Nigerians before we start thinking of giving our vote to the next person again.
Okay. Thank you, gentlemen, for that insight. We'll have to go on a break now. And when we return from the break, we'll still touch more on this subject matter. Then we'll talk a little bit on the forthcoming by-election in Edo State, slated for 2 days' time. We'll wrap up with all of that. But let's take a short break on the show this evening. Stay with us. Thank you so much for staying with us on the program Road to 2027. We've been making sense out of our party defections and the real issues, the North and the South dichotomy. My guests are still here with me on the program, Benjamin Mayo and Solomon Idiogbe. So Solomon, let me come to you with this. I'll go to Benjamin again before we now look at the forthcoming by-election in Edo. Now, do you foresee the coalition or the PDP or the Labour Party or any other party being able to unseat the president come 2027?
There are possibilities of coalition opposition party unseating the president.
Yeah.
And let me quickly correct something there to see where the presidency comes from. Doesn't matter where leadership comes from. Does matter. It very does matter. You know why? In fact, Edo State is one of the issues. If you look at what got us where we are, it was the issue of the attempt or attempted marginalization of the Edo Central that became the cause of the pre-election discourse. And the reason why APC, the PDP today, is much more in disarray at the national level is the yanking out of Yesi Wike, who said they had had a discussion prior to the presidential election that leadership must move to the south, based on the fact that then late President Muhammadu Buhari was on the north.
Yeah.
And the reason why the north did not support Goodluck Jonathan was because they said Goodluck Jonathan will be doing a third tenure. So the religion, ethnicity is a major threat in the Nigerian political system. Now, when we try to look at what you try to ask, the issue of the elections, if you look at Edo State today, some will say that the current governor did not gain the support of the populace. Some will say the governor gained the support of the people because it became a choice of the populace. Some will say because Obaseki did not do well, and some will say because Obaseki chose. So religion has a lot to play. Osifo, you were asking whether the north and the south is a major issue, and if the president can be unseated by the coalition of political party or the opposition,
yes,
it's a stake. The issue of the presidential candidate,
okay,
the religion it belongs, the tribe from which it comes,
okay,
and the viability of the candidate matters a lot in the next elections. For instance, popular demand or popular say is that if you go bring a constant contestant from the north, for instance, as the next presidential candidate from the coalition, it may never see the light of the day. It's a popular opinion.
Are you referring to the president of Alhaji Atiku Abubakar?
Atiku Abubakar.
Is that who you're referring to?
There's also another popular opinion.
Okay.
That if you bring the likes of the southern candidate who had a serious contention with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in the last election, you know, to be the flag bearer of the coalition or the opposition party, it will go a long way in trying to unseat the sitting president. So you can see that the issue of the north and south has a major play. And now there's a rumor that former President Goodluck Jonathan is also coming as a candidate. And you know the dynamics, you know, that will play, you know, of his emergence as a candidate of any of the political party. So for me, yes, religion and tribe has a lot to play. And there's a strong possibility of removing, except because we all know that we have weaker institutions against stronger persons in Nigeria.
Okay.
Without due respect to the presidency, they have the powers of manipulating votes and making figures fly.
That's an allegation.
You know, if
anyway.
that is it, I said with all due respect, it's possible. It's a possibility.
All right.
It has happened before. We should not deceive ourselves.
Okay.
If you ask 100 Nigerians, I can tell you that 90 of them will tell you that the last election was rigged in favor of Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
Okay.
It's a popular opinion.
All right.
So, if that is, it means that before we can talk of a credible presidential election in 2027, there must be a serious electoral reform to build trust between the populace, between the electorate and the electoral umpire. If you are not able to build confidence between the electorate and the electoral umpire, the elections in 2027 will just go the normal way. Now, let me tell you, the elections in Nigeria has failed and has had this issue of voters' apathy because of the tripod. The political party, the political umpire, and the electorate. That's a tripod. And over time, we have seen loss of faith and failed trust between these three, especially coming from the ruling political party, who over time have been able to sway the electoral umpire in their favor to producing a candidate that's against the wish of the populace. So the Nigerian population believe that the elections in Nigeria are always free. Okay. And that has gone a long way in determining the result. It has a way of influencing the result negative. Okay. So I think that yes, it is possible to remove Bola Ahmed Tinubu if there's a synergy amongst the political actors to produce a candidate that is viable and that has trust with the populace.
Okay. So Benjamin, let me come to you now. Narrowing it down to the big one that will be happening in Edo in the next 2 days. Everything that have to do with political campaign ends tonight ahead of the by-election in Edo Central, which is your, where you actually belong, basically, your stake, your stronghold, and of your federal constituency. Do you foresee the power that they normally call the federal might playing in this forthcoming by-election?
Edo Central is gearing up for Saturday's senatorial by-election.
Yeah.
Like I said in the last interview we had, I told you that in this Tinubu regime, anything is possible.
Okay.
Anything is possible because we have seen it happen before, where a sitting president asked a senator in the Edo North, "Do you want Edo State?" He said yes. He said, "I will give it to you." And that's what happened in Edo State. So I will not be surprised that the result in the Edo Central has already been written. I will not be surprised because we have seen a lot of hanky-panky in the political arena, especially in that of Edo State and the neighboring state. But one thing they should be rest assured of: Edo Central is a particular district that we know what we want. We have one called Epakota. We believe in one word. We believe in agreement. And we have already agreed this is who we are sending to represent us.
Yeah.
And that is the person of Prince Joe Okoji.
Okay.
And this man has been in politics for a very long time. And he has paid his dues. And is somebody who we can say his hand is clean. And at least, for God's sake, for the sake of Edo people, let us have an educated person in the right chamber defending the Edo people, representing the Edo Central. A man who can speak eloquently and tell other Nigerians, this is what I want for my constituency, this is what I want for my senatorial district. And this is the project and this is what is affecting my people. Sometimes you might have all the ideas. You might have all what it takes to change the whole world. But once you are called for a presentation and you are unable to do a proper presentation, you lost it all. Because people don't have time to be reading your 20 or 25 pages of drafted ideas. What they want to hear you say how you want to do it in less than 5 minutes. So, but at the moment, this is what Edo State is lacking from the governorship, from the governor office, to the local government level. So we want somebody in the red chamber, and that is why the Edo people and the Edo Central have agreed that we are voting this week, voting on Saturday, Honorable Prince Joe Koji, because it's like when the time of the governorship election was even warming up, a lot of us in Esanla will say, okay, at least he's qualified. You understand? We said he's qualified. A lot of Nigerians in diaspora reached out to him. He said, no, it is not yet time. But at the end of the day, PDP did their primaries. Dr. Ansel Godalo of the PDP emerges as the candidate. And he stepped forward and said, this is my candidate, I'm also going to support him. And it was with Aswe Igodalo throughout the campaign. And I can attest to that. All the campaign that Aswe went to, in diaspora, in Nigeria, and in every other neighboring country, he was with him. And this is somebody who holds the ideas and the interest of the Edo people at heart. Prince Joe Okoje is not just a name, it's a big name when it comes to land development, politically and otherwise. He might not be a noisemaker like others, He might not have a governor at the moment who is pushing him, going to campaign up and down and all that. But the Edo people and the Esan dynasty, like Esan people, know his capacity, know what he has done and what he's going to do. But I am begging the Edo people and the Edo Central people, this Saturday, they are going to give you money. They will entice you with money, 10,000, 20,000, and the case may be, might even up to 50,000. And I know there is hunger in the land. I know there is insecurity that is currently ravaging that particular district. Please do not succumb to their plans. Do not succumb to their propaganda, because if you want the development of Edo Central, you are in the position of making that decision on Saturday. If you want your children to enjoy the fruit of democracy in Edo Central, you will be the one making that decision on Saturday. I am not saying other political party candidates, they are not qualified. They are qualified. But when you look at the sharing formula, democratically, Uromi especially have not had the opportunity of producing a senator in Edo State. And now the Esan people said, no, this time is going to Uromi. We have all agreed in the 5 local government. Even before, okay, now, let me give you an instance. The governor of Edo State, Senator Mondo Pebulu, how he became a governor, how he became a senator and he became a governor. It is us, the Esan people. I was one of them. We said no. Whether he qualifies, doesn't qualify, according to what people said in his party, this is who we want. And even the governor then, Obaseki, never objected to it. And he never influenced anything. He never campaigned too much against him. And at the end of the day, he became the senator in Edo Central. From Senate House in the Red Chamber, he moved down to Osadebe Avenue. If we, the Esan people, did not make him the senator representing us, there is no way he will have become a governor. Because we believe in our people. Because we believe in the capacity of what our people can do. And that is the same reason why we are saying, since the senatorial district, Esan senatorial district and the Senate office have just left Iwa, which the governor came from, now let's take it down to Uromi. Obiaja have been there. Ekpoma, I guess, have also been there. So Uromi have never had opportunity of producing a senator. Since 1999, that democracy returned to Nigeria. And when you look at it, all the politicians in Edo State, there is no one that will say, I became who I am as a politician without the help of our late father of the blessed memory, Chief Tony Aneni. So in that region, Aneni has never pushed any position like senator to anybody. He always said, let it come from this side, let it come from this. That is the idea we call a Bakota that have united all the whole 5 local government all this while. But since the man departed to an unforbidden world, to a world that all of us will also go one day, this is the situation where we find ourselves. We have been having this problem of saying some people selling out, but some people this time we are saying it is Prince Joe Okoje that will go and represent us, because the governor himself cannot do all the job alone. The development that he has put in place, he cannot be the only person. He's not the governor of some people alone. He's the governor of the whole Edo State people. So you have Edo Central, you have Edo North, you have Edo South. You understand? So now we need a senator who will be able to look back home and say, I know the problem of my people. And this is who the people of Edo Central have chosen. And I am begging everybody, please, wherever you are you outside the country, gaze your eyes on Saturday election, the by-election in Edo Central. Tell your people, talk to your people wherever they are. They should vote for capacity, competency, and compassion. Not for money, not for 10,000 that will not last them a day. That is the problem we have in Nigeria. Nobody should allow to buy vote in any unit. Youth in every area should stand up against injustice of buying votes. Anybody trying to disenfranchise them, they should stand up against it. Because if you do not speak up, the people who are propagating and doing this evil thing, they will continue to do it and go scot-free.
Okay.
We must rise up and say, this is an end to it. And yes, some people, like I said, we have a lion heart. Right. We have agreed that we are voting for Prince Joe Okoje come on the 16th of this month, which is on Saturday, 2 days from now.
Okay.
Thank you and God bless you.
All right. Solomon Ijogbe, let me wrap up the conversation with you. What is your advice to the electorate, the electoral umpire ahead of Saturday by-election?
Unfortunately, I want to say that it is better to vote for competence, because it's a local election. It's not an all-comers affair.
Yeah.
But it's not a general election where you'll be voting for a governor, you'll be voting for a senator, you'll be voting for House of Assembly, House of Reps, Councillor at the same time. You're going to vote for somebody that's going to represent your constituents. For the Edo South, it is going to be between Ovia Southwest and Ovia Northeast, which is the Ovia
Federal
constituency.
Yeah.
Federal constituency. So for me, it's asking them to look at the candidates very well. They are known to you, and vote a candidate of the choice. But again, if you want to be sincere to ourselves, by just beating the horse, we already know where the pendulum will swing. Because I asked a rhetorical question this afternoon. Outside the candidates who has been campaigning on television, maybe because he had the opportunity of the television because they own a television station, I have not seen any other candidate coming out to campaign. And you think that, it's easy to come by? Yes, I do not agree with the one-party system that the APC is propagating. But I think too that those who are thinking of opposition should also come out loud. And then in the Edo Central, yes, I've listened to my brother Mayor several times talk about Joe Koji. I am an Nesa man, for instance. I'm from Hosea. I remember that when it was opportunity for us to produce a commissioner, then it was the same Joe Koji who stood for Barrister Uso to be appointed as a commissioner during. I can say it because I know that during Governor Obaseki. But the table is not the same now, because everybody in the PDP has moved into the APC. And then the governor is using the peripheral of the state to campaign. And you think it's a level playground. So let's not deceive ourselves. But that is not to say that the electorate should not go there on that day and vote a candidate of your choice, because that one vote that we're looking at, we just swing it. So for me, vote a candidate of your choice. And I will not advise them not to collect money, because you can't stop it. They will collect money. But look at your conscience and tell yourself this is the candidate that you want to vote for.
Exactly.
And vote, and let the umpire do the counting and tell us who the result will. There is no need for fighting, because bloodshedding will not solve it.
Absolutely.
There's need for us to, because your political leaders have come to the police commissioner today to sign a peace pact. I was there. I also witnessed it, and I signed as witness for the civil society movement.
Okay.
So I think I would encourage the electorate to go out en masse, though we have the feeling that it's going to be full of voters apathy, but we still want to encourage the electorate to come out on that Saturday, 2 days away from now, or less than 48 hours from now, to come out and vote for a candidate of your choice, and in the end, the result will be announced. Anybody who feels aggrieved should go to court.
Okay.
Even though that is not, we no longer see it as a laptop.
Okay, so Benjamin, your final words before we call it a wrap for your people.
Thank you, my dear brother,
in less than 1 minute.
Mr. Solomon. Like I said, I just want to urge the good people of Edo State, that of the Esan, Edo Central, Senatorial District, and the Ovia, who will be going into the pool this weekend, that bloodshed, violence will never solve it, because these politicians that you are going to be doing this thing for, in less than 3 or 4 months, they might decide to change party.
Absolutely.
And they will become friends.
Absolutely.
Like what Mr. Solomon just said.
Yeah.
We have seen in the last 1 week where a PDP aspirant in the same election that is coming up now have already jumped ship and joined the APC. And some of his supporters have fought the APC supporters then. So now it is you that is on the street now and keeping the enmity.
Yeah.
Please, politics, there is no permanent friend, there is no permanent enemy. It's just a game of interest. So if you are in politics, you need to have this thing. Absolutely. 2 interests you need to have at heart.
Yeah.
1, your safety interest as the candidate that is standing,
okay,
and the interest of the people of the constituency that you want to lead.
All right.
Please shun violence, report any crime in your area to the law enforcement agency,
all right,
and vote the candidate of your choice. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. I appreciate your time on the program tonight. I hope when else we call on you guys, you'll be available to always join us on topical discussions like this. Thank you very much. Solomon Idiogbe, thank you. Benjamin Mayo, thank you for your time.
Thank you so much.